Harihi Om Tat Sat. Jaya Guru. Jaya Guru. Shrutinam Sutranam Smriti Nikhila Vedanuvachasam Paramhardam Yuktam Hyakila Chidajit Bhinnam Abhija Abhinnam Swabhavyat Gunicha Paramam Brahmakamidam Samadhishtam Yaistan Abhisadatamide Guruvaran Bhagyodayena Bahujanma Samarjitena Satsangame Valabhate Purusho Yadavai Ajnana Hetu Krita Moha Mahamdhakaranasham Vidhayahi Tato Dayate Vivekaha. Harihi Om, Harihi Om, Harihi. We shall recite the Omkara 3 times in chorus. Take your pose by interlocking the fingers and putting them on your lap. Sitting comfortably erect, closing the eyes and opening the mouth and the heart alike. Join. Harihi Om Tas Jaya Guru. This morning session on Vivekachoodamani is not like the public lecture session of the evening. This is generally attended to by a lesser number of people. It is more like a class than like a lecture. At the same time, it is a lecture, no doubt, but I try to make the participants participate in the session. Whenever I take a shloka, the shloka is recited. The participants are also made to repeat after I recite line by line. Then the words are split and each word is separately uttered and repeated. Then I start explaining the words. The idea is those people who participate in the session must have something more than mere hearing. Generally I talk and all of you hear, except the 3 times and plus one conclusional one, the Omkara recitation, you don't have any participation as such except receiving what is said. But here there must also be an expressive participation from the listeners. That is the idea. Why is it so done? So that you will have a greater intimacy with the text. And by practice, when you start reciting Sanskrit words and Sanskrit phrases, after some time you will pick up an interest and affinity for it. That is the idea. I don't know whether it happens with you. So we will first of all recite the first words of Vivekachoodamani.
पहला श्लोक हम पहले उच्चारण करेंगे, उसके आप पीछे पीछे दोहराइए। सर्व वेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरम तमगोचरम गोविंदम परमानंदम सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
See, listen. Ma was reciting line by line, and there was a chorus recitation from your side. By listening to the chorus recitation, I feel the recitation is somewhat all right. Whether all of you are doing it well, That we have to test differently. This means that in this audience there are some people who can repeat the words and phrases properly. I have been coming to Jamshedpur, this is the 51st year. You know how I am particular about this Sanskrit verses, recitation, etc. But the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which we generally recite before having our food, wherever we are going, and our centers and sessions are there. But when I listen to the recitation from the dining hall, it is very, very depressing. Can you tell me what is the reason? Are you not adults? Can you not put some time? After all, what are these? These are sounds coming out from the human mouth. It starts from the kantha. It ends up with the lips. As long as you have a mouth to utter, you must be able to utter it properly. Maybe provincial differences will be there, but with practice it can be done. Ma and Nutun Swamiji are Bengalis. Bengalis use quite a number of Sanskrit words in their language, but it is all in a Bengali style. I would like to say it is a deflected one. But in spite of it, they learn Sanskrit and they are uttering the Sanskrit words and phrases very, very well. Sometimes I would like to tell people, these see Bengalis and they are pronouncing it. Generally South Indians do it better. Their language also is like that. We pronounce every letter and word in full. Say in Hindi you say avashyakta, but you are writing avashyakata. Why don't you join ka and ta and then write? But you are writing avashyakata, but you say avashyakta. It is a deflection. It should not be so. So whatever letter we write, that letter should come out of our mouth. Suppose I say something, hearing that you must be able to write. You should not have any further reference. Suppose I say avashyakta and ask somebody to write, he will write ka and ta together, like mukti, mukta. So there is an abhabramsha there. Actually no language should have it. Language teachers and language experts should spend a lot of time to find out what are the wrong things. They will creep. Because we are given to laziness, we are given to inattention, we are not given to examination. So if they can pronounce, why not you? So from today onwards, I was telling Ma, if necessary I shall spend some time with you. You know, I will bombard you with my words to such an extent that you will be forced to repeat it. I don't know whether Ma and others, when they teach, they spend so much time. I say, look into my tongue, look into my lips, look into my mouth and see how it can be done. We have got a recitation done by people from about 9, 10 or 12 states. I was teaching in Delhi, and all of them, till the word comes out of their mouth, I will go on repeating it. So this 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I think why you are not able to do it well? After all, it is only a few verses. This is the only wealth and treasure that you can have so far as the inner personality of man is concerned. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta.
Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta.
Ma, you don't recite and listen to and see how much mark can you give. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta. Gojaram tamagojaram. Gojaram tamagojaram. See, in the north they always say agojarang. No. That the lips should be closed. That is the way Anuswara is pronounced. It starts from mouth open, and it ends up with And in that the nose should take part. It's a nasal sound. Lips closed. Suppose the lips are closed, you tell me where from the sound will come? Boliye na thoda. Some opening should be there. Lips you have closed. It cannot come through the ear. It can only... So it is to be Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam. See, Gocharam Tamagocharam, Tamagocharam, Tamagocharam. 3 times you have to close your lips. Gocharam Tamagocharam. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam. Govindam Paramanandam. Make sure that you close your lips. Govindam Paramanandam. Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Pranatosmyaham. That's, see, Sa plus Ma plus Ya. 3 letters are combined there. Smya, 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 smya. Say that. You cannot say smya. It is not written smya. It is written Sa, Ma and Ya. All the 3 are put together. In the same way you have to pronounce it. Pranatosmyaham. Smyaham. 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 Struggle it. What else will you do? Give some exercise. Use the tongue cleaner. We are told to clean the tongue. Rub, rub. My father used to give me the coconut splinter split into 2. So one I will take and go on rubbing the tongue. When the pronunciation doesn't come, our people will say, you have not cleaned your tongue properly. It's not cleaning, it's an exercise. See, we are cleaning the tongue means rubbing it. The tongue is never rubbed, but we are rubbing it in such a manner. And see the indigenous way of doing it. Sometimes we take the mango leaf, ripe leaves which will fall. That also we will use, but it doesn't have that much of strength as the coconut splinter split. So don't think that it is impossible. It's a question of how we adopt the culture and take to this practice. Now you tell me, Ma, whether they can pronounce it or not.
The chorus was good. Chorus was quite good.
That means there are some people who are doing it well. Why don't you learn? It's absolutely. I will give you 99% mark. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam.
Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam.
Tamagocharam.
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 Govindam Paramanandam.
Govindam Paramanandam.
Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham.
Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham.
I want you to tell me what I want you to say. See, I am taking this text not only here, I take it in Delhi, I take here. Rarely I speak about it in the ashram also. In my Mukti Sudhakaram, where I completed whatever I wanted to say about Srimad Bhagavatam, more than 1,000 and odd episodes were there, the Mukti Skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then I was telling people that I would like to discuss one more text if possible. Let it be Vivekachoodamani. I wrote a letter to more than 1,000 viewers. Then later on I decided, if I start discussing the text Vivekachoodamani, there will be no name like Krishna, Arjuna, Rama, Vasishtha or anything. So people may not be very happy. So if I discuss the Vivekachoodamani text, the text may not be available, many people have not heard. It is very textual in many places, very philosophical. It's almost like a textbook for MA or BA. So finally I decided, no, I will go for Bhagavad Gita. Some people were perhaps a little disappointed. But when I started discussing Bhagavad Gita in my own manner, it was not just a Gita discussion. It is a discussion where all parallel texts and the scriptures come. So I quote liberally from Vivekachoodamani, from so many other Prakarana Granthas, Srimad Bhagavatam and other things. So the discussion is very, very unique, very extensive also. And people are simply amazed. I am also amazed. This Vivekachoodamani, I thought, will not be a common text for such a huge multitude. The viewers are about 1 crore of people or more. So for such a large multitude, this text cannot have the full appeal. I think we will be giving a medicine which is beyond their consumption level. So I took to Bhagavad Gita. When I take Vivekachoodamani, I am not giving a lecture as such. Just like now, I have told you that you repeat it and we take you the time. So I want you to participate in the session. One thing is to expose you by a lecture to a session. Thereafter you must be involved in the session. Then only that learning practice will come. So every verse I read, I recite it once. Then I recite it for the others to repeat. Then splitting the words I present. So the words and the combinations are understood. Thereafter I start speaking. Do you like it, want it or not? Huh? All people, lift your hands. Those people who want. Okay, very good. Now, this is a text, very good text. You will find a considerable theory in the text. After all, it's a textbook. So it is presented in a foolproof manner. Not only that, this is the last text that Shankaracharya wrote. So you can find the maturity level from which it would have sprung from his heart. That is one. Being the last one, what all he said earlier, all of them would have been there in a very, very sublime manner, plus something more. When I started reading this text, I was impatient. It was dealing with a lot of textual things. I was not interested. This happened in Calcutta in my pre-sannyasa life. So I was hurriedly going through, what is he saying finally? What I want to know is, who is a knower of truth? What will he be like? I wanted to know. What is that knowledge and realization? And who is that realized soul? Does he say anything about how this realizational soul will live and move in this world? This was so I was reading anxiously, and towards the end, he brings it forth so beautifully. At the same time, it is a text, so we have to pass through some textual portions of the text. Would you like me to discuss them or not? Or bypass all of them? Huh? Everything is to be known. Now I am going to face a section which is very textual. You know, the purpose of a text is to expose a subject. And expose a subject, constantly showing how the subject is. And you must also inspire the listeners or readers, saying that this is good, saying that this is good. You must also make them do that practice. So we say self, SCLF, बस हो गया. ये कहाँ है? हमारे भीतर है. पकड़ लो तू. कोई नहीं पकड़ पाते. इसका अर्थ क्या है? Every day you are referring, you may not refer to God, but you refer to the self. I. Everyone is saying I, but we never bother about it. So how to make people think about this I? And what is this I? What is the distance to your eye? You tell me. How distant is the eye from you? Zero distance. Nobody can make a mistake. I know very clearly that it is behind my chest and in front of my back, below my head and above my feet. I know it very clearly. But we are not able to get at it. So there is a lot of process to be undergone. We must be able to penetrate into the mental chamber, the intellectual chamber, the ego chamber, and we must somehow be able to land on this self. How to do it? What is the process? The process is purely mento-intellectual, mento-intellectual. The sensory organ has nothing to do there. The hands and feet have nothing to do there. You only have to employ your mind and employ your intelligence. We have these two faculties. The self is present there intact. Why is it that we are not able to access? So there is a lot of reluctance, resentment, ignorance, delusion, ignorance, delusion. A ton of gold is there. All people will run to possess. The self is much greater a treasure, before which the entire world with all its splendor will be whew. The world can have no stand before the self. One is the drashta, the seer, the perceiver. Another is the visible, the seen. The seen will have no consequence except when it is seen by the seer. The seer comes first. He comes the last. The seen is only a delusional display in between. Suppose you have a ton of gold and you fall dead. Will you be able to make use of it? So the ton of gold should be understood. Upon the donkey you place 10 kilograms of gold and ask it to carry, it will carry. But will it know the value of it? So we are all donkeys, carrying the self-gold in us. But we don't know that there is a gold inside us. How to overcome this delusion, make people shed the delusion? It is not an easy thing. This delusion is not inserted by your parents. It is not inserted by anything in particular. It is inserted by the creative principle itself. When we send the children to the school and the primary classes, what are we trying to do? The child goes there with ignorance as its capital. That ignorance is to be removed by providing knowledge. So it is a knowing process. What is the child doing in front of the teacher in the class, you tell me? Is the child walking? Is the child standing? Is the child speaking? Or is the child put into a knowing process? Knowing process. Look, this is 1. Look, this is 2. You are writing on the board 1, 2. But what does the child do? It observes through the eyes, finds the color in front of the background, the board, and then it finds this is 1 and that is 2. The two figures are different. One is given the name 1, the other is given the name 2. So the 1 is different from 2. In figure, in shape, in everything it is different. Though the color is the same, board is the same. So it is a knowing process. It is a knowing process. Knowledge can be acquired only by the knowing process. And the knowing process can be taken up only when there is a knower inside you. So throughout our life we are trying to know the knowables, the jnayas. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Jnanam, Jnayam. I will tell you what is knowledge. I will tell you what is Jnaya. Jnaya. The thing to be known. The thing to be known is not outside. The thing to be known is inside. All the knowledge is an expression, is a gain, is an outcome of the knower. The knower. We know the knowables, the visibles. We refuse to know the knower. How to make people understand that the knower is greater than all the knowns in the world? Let the world be great, infinite. The knower of truth will say, what of it? It is a display of what I am. I am superior to the drishya, the visible. I am the drashta. I am the drik. the drik, the drashta, the drashta. You look into the wide open world, the visible world, the extensive world. Are you with me? Look into the visible world and then stop and think, where am I seeing this world? Huh? Huh? Why are you keeping quiet? Where do you see the world? बोलिए ना थोड़ा. But do you know that? We see something and run after it. Why don't you stand and see? I see the trees, I see the sea, I see the mountain, I see the stars, the sun, the moon. What do I have to see them? Only two small eyes. With the small eyes, what do I see? Bah!